Hey, what's going on out there, man? I want to speak right quick on the Shilo Sanders and Shedeur Sanders falling to the fifth round. Shedeur fell to the fifth round. Shilo went undrafted, but was signed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as an undrafted free agent. But just like Tyler said, man, I think it was a blessing in disguise. Because as I'm looking at and looking over both of these rosters where these two guys fail, it could have been a blessing in disguise, just like I said. Because like they were talking about, man, God makes no mistakes. Sometimes he do things to humble us, and sometimes he do things to put us in a better position that we don't even see coming. Because if you look at Shedeur Sanders and what he did in college last year at the University of Colorado, to me, he was one of the better quarterbacks in the nation. Um, you talk about 74% completion percentage, nearly 4,000 yards and 37 touchdowns. That's no joke. And that completion percentage lets us know he can be accurate with the pass. And let's look at the Cleveland Browns roster, man. They're quarterbacks. Let's be honest right off the rip, man. Right off the rip, let's be honest. Um, when you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers depth chart, I'm sorry, the Cleveland Browns depth chart at the quarterback position, man, look, you have Deshaun Watson, who's not going to play this year with an Achilles injury, and his days in Cleveland likely are numbered. Then you look at Joe Flacco, who's 40 years old, who's probably a backup. They gave him I think it was 14 million, 10 to 14 million, but most of those was incentives because he's only guaranteed for 4 million. So that lets you know he's probably going to be a backup. They may let him start, and he's probably going to vie for that starting job. But at 40 years old, we know that's not going to last long. Then you look at Kenny Pickett. What has he really done in Pittsburgh? What has he really done in Philly? You traded for him, but he's a down the road guy if he's on the roster that long. Then Dylan Gabriel, this was the insult of the draft. You draft him before you draft Shedeur Sanders. And don't get me wrong, Dylan Gabriel had put up some terrific numbers at Oregon last year. But you talk about a guy that's been in college football for 6 years. So he's been around a long time, and he's just now entering the NFL. And let's be real, his arm is not the strongest. Yes, he's pretty accurate, but his arm is not the strongest. He doesn't really have an NFL caliber type arm. And as I said on the previous show, to me, he's a left-handed Chad Pennington, and I'm old enough to remember him. Yes, I am. But Dylan Gabriel, man, he to me, he was he was just a pick to probably be probably try to vie for the third quarterback spot. Then you have Shedeur Sanders, who put up the number that I just said earlier, and I think he can beat out all of these guys because I don't think really none of them can hold a flame or a torch to him. And Joe Flacco is the only one that will probably give him a run for his money, and that's the only way he would become the backup if Kevin Stefanski wants Joe Flacco to be the starter. But I think Shedeur is more talented than all of these guys put together. So as I look at it, that was one blessing in disguise. Then you look, Shedeur Sanders. Another reason why I said it was a blessing, because as I looked at the Las Vegas Raiders roster at the quarterback position, um, I saw people saying, "Well, Tom Brady mentored him, but he did not draft him." Look at what he has in front of him. They just signed Geno Smith to a $80 million extension. Then you have Aiden O'Connell, who was the starting quarterback last year with the Raiders at most of the season. So as you look at that, the Raiders would not have been a good spot for Shedeur Sanders. So look, like I said, everything fell into place just like it was supposed to. Oh, and did I forget to remember they drafted Cam Miller out of North Dakota State, and Carter Bradley was there last year. So their quarterback room is full as well. Then you look at Shilo Sanders, who's a very, very solid tackler. Um, Another blessing in disguise, but because they lost the safety Jordan Whitehead to free agency because his contract was up. They have Christian Azian and Antoine Winfield Jr. back there, but they have a couple of safeties that they've drafted or signed in the last 2 years because Marcus Bank, Kayvon Merriweather, Rashard Wisdom, and then Shilo Sanders is back there. And Shilo Sanders, he has the instinct of his dad. He's a very solid tackler, and he has an eye for the football. So I think he has a chance to make this roster as well. So, like I said, man, sometimes we don't understand things, but sometimes things fall in place just like they're supposed to. And I think both of these kids, both of Dion's sons, probably will make these NFL rosters not because of their dad, but because they have enough talent to play ahead of what's in front of them. If that makes sense. If they can beat out these guys, I think they get a chance to have ample playing time in the NFL. And like I said, in Cleveland, Shedeur, to me, is the most talented quarterback in that room. Joe Flacco, he probably was going to put up a fight for that starting quarterback, but at the end of the day, I think Shedeur can beat out all of those quarterbacks in Cleveland. And Shilo, with the safety room in Tampa Bay, if he develops like he's supposed to and come along like he's supposed to, he has a chance to get a lot of playing time in Tampa Bay next year. Whether it's special teams, whether it's getting in on certain schemes, Todd Bowles is going to find a way to use that kid because he's a strong defensive mind, and I think he can use Shedeur Sanders' talent in that defensive back room, that safety room. But this is why I think it was a blessing in disguise for both of these kids. Y'all tell me what y'all think about these kids going to their destinations. Shiloh in Cleveland. I'm sorry, Shedeur in Cleveland. Shiloh in Tampa. Let me know what y'all think, man. Drop those comments. I'll holler at y'all soon, man. Peace.